Bitcoin right now around 29,500. What's new? It's like Groundhog's Day all over again. For perspective, if you go back on this chart, you look back here in June, 29,500. Bitcoin has kind of been above, below, but we've been just at this sideways range for some time now. You go to Cardano on the daily chart. Look at Cardano, same type of deal. Cardano around 29.5 cents. Well, you go back here in June, 29.5 cents. Yes, there's been some volatility upside and downside along the way, but it's kind of like Bitcoin, Cardano getting just pulled in like gravity to these sideways areas. And I just want to say this. We zoom out on the charts. Here's a Bitcoin zoomed out. The sideways, it doesn't last forever. It's happened time and time again on these charts, but it does not last forever. It's going to end. The sideways will end, and we'll be in this volatility environment once again. And it's a matter of being prepared for that scenario. So in this video, I want to break down some Bitcoin charts, Cardano charts. I want to do it in a very simple way, just an update on where we are. Obviously, price has not really been doing anything. So let's do it. This is Bitcoin on the weekly. We're going to start here. And I want to try and interject some of my opinion, I guess, what I think might be happening next. But obviously, we've been tracking Bitcoin above this 20-week moving average, that green line, higher highs, higher lows, since really the swing low back here in November. Bitcoin just exiting that bear market, right? And we've been really evaluating the question, are we going to hold or fail at the 20-week moving average? We're at the same area of this Bitcoin chart prior to the last 2020 halving. Bitcoin failed at the 20-week and fell to the 50. But you go to the halving before, and I know we talk about this a lot, but the halving before, Bitcoin actually just kind of exited the bear market and saw support above the 20-week moving average. It didn't get pulled into that blue line, the 50. Notice something, though. I just want to point this out while we're back here in 2016. When Bitcoin was doing that, look at this weekly chart. Look how just stagnant Bitcoin was, just at that 20-week moving average. And even then, we could just have been evaluating, is Bitcoin support going to hold here? Gets a little pop, comes back down. Is it going to hold? Or are we going to be pulled into the 50? And look, Bitcoin sideways, doing nothing. And then finally, after months, it just woke up and made a move, right? So that's a really good illustration of Bitcoin just, yeah, this happens, these sideways environments. It doesn't always have to be like the support failed or we broke away from support. It could just be like we're just trending along support, right? So last cycle, it wasn't sideways for too long into the 20 before falling, right? Now we go to where we are right now. Obviously, we're going to continue tracking it. Hopefully, we don't trend sideways for months at this 20-week moving average at this price range. Hopefully, we get a move, whether that's to the upside or start falling to the downside. To the downside, we talked about, I think in yesterday's video, just this 50-week moving average in blue. It's $23,600 or so. And for me, as I see Bitcoin, I see crypto charts right now, and even if we evaluate where we are in the cycles, these red boxes, I think there is such a case for this to happen, for Bitcoin to just consolidate, fall a little bit lower. And markets kind of seem like they want to do that. Even if stock market is consolidating in the short to mid-term, we know that August and September historically are just not the most bullish for crypto. So I'm going to continue monitoring just an escape from the 20-week moving average. On the daily chart, we know what the setup looks like, the pattern to the upside. The upper trend line is right around $30,000 to $31,000, I guess we can call it. Big short-term resistance for Bitcoin, right around the 50 moving average on the daily, around $30,000. I could see Bitcoin just making a move to that area, $500 move. Is there resistance there? We start zooming out on Bitcoin charts. This $30,000 area is a pretty big resistance area. You just start looking at this. Even back here in May 2022 on the way down, this was an area of consolidation for Bitcoin before falling, even more. This was an area of support in this last Bitcoin bull market, this $30,000 area. So this is a really just strong area of resistance. If Bitcoin can't muster up the energy to break above that area, I could totally just see this consolidation happening kind of on the short to midterm. Again, we have the target to the downside out of the pattern around 20,500, but we also have at around $23,000, it's right around here, the 50-week moving average. I'm on a daily chart, but this is where the 50-week moving average is. Bitcoin just cooling down in the month of August and September. That could really be in play before we start making that move to the upside, before we start really turning around on this long-term chart. So that's what I'm watching on Bitcoin. There's really not much there other than it's obviously sideways and we're waiting for a break either way. But I would say bullish confirmation if Bitcoin can break above $30,000 in the short term, make a move above that area. But to the downside, I'd be really evaluating right where Bitcoin is right now at the 20-day moving average and this lower trend line around $28,700 or so. That's less than $1,000 away for Bitcoin to hold support in this consolidation. Otherwise, we know the target's to downside. Going over to ADA, I just want to point this out. Cardano, I mean, this was from a few days ago, August 8th. Cardano sits just above 29 cents. Whales and sharks holding between 100,000 to 10 million ADA have accumulated back to their highest level since September 2022. Additionally, on-chain transaction volume has been rising nearly every week for the past 6 months. This is good for Cardano. As we start talking about price for ADA, what's happening on-chain is growth. That is huge, especially where we are in this cycle of the crypto cycles, right? We're in between this bear market and bull market. To see ADA and Cardano just growing on, DeFi, fundamentally, transactions, all that good stuff, really important. This is where we are on the ADA charts, though. I want to point this out before we dig into the short-term targets, which we're going to look at short-term targets for ADA. On the weekly chart, the biggest thing that is really catching my attention is if you look at this ADA chart, here's a Bitcoin halving right here back in 2020. Here's the next Bitcoin halving. Where we are in relation to ADA is we're entering this red box, right? So we're kind of back here in September 2019, which we've talked about. That is to say, you can see ADA consolidated all through December before getting this pop up. We know August, September, once again, could be red for crypto. Historically, it has been red for crypto these months. If that's the case, there's such a strong argument that ADA could just kind of trickle sideways and down, right? Even while all of this bullishness is happening on chain. And fundamentally, Cardano is getting ready for that next bull cycle and all this value to come online. This move to the downside is in play. And until we break the 20-week moving average, 34 cents, the 50-week moving average right below 36 cents, that very small range, until we break that, I think it's wise to anticipate just at the very least sideways or even down. What does that look like? We start going over to the ADA on the daily chart. We're in this just consolidation. Obviously, it's been boring. We're talking a lot about that. But right now, we have just this, from this huge move to the upside that we got in mid-July, we have this just falling channel that ADA has fallen into. Amidst all of the sideways across crypto, Bitcoin doing its own thing, ADA is just kind of trickling sideways, but down a little bit. Lower highs, lower lows. You can even see on this daily chart, we're right now below the 50-day moving average. We're below the 20-day moving average. 20-day getting ready to potentially cross below the 50. Are we going to test another new lower low around 27 to 28 cents? Or are we going to see a break above these moving averages? 20-day moving average around 30, just over 30 cents. This upper trend line right now around 30.5 cents to 31 cents. ADA needs to make a move one way or the other to test this low or to break or test or break above this trend line. Target to the upside, just to give you an idea. 33.5 cents out of this pattern to the downside, 24.5 cents to the downside. Notice what ADA would be doing. It would be breaking all of these previous lows and truly just testing this capitulation wick that we had all the way back here in June, really when the SEC went after Coinbase and essentially went after ADA. ADA could be testing that area once again, target to the downside. That is not a bad thing. Again, you go to the ADA charts over here on the weekly. What did ADA do in this red area? It just trended down, right? It was consolidating down before getting that move to the upside above the 20-week moving average, testing the 50-week moving average. That's the move we're looking for, but we might have to go a little bit lower first before that happens. And this could take some time, right? This is obviously a daily chart, but if we just kind of extend this out, what if this continues to be grueling? What if ADA just trades sideways into the upper trend line, 29.5 cents, then falls, right? All of a sudden, we're at the end of August. We're trickling into September, pop to the upside. Like this could just go on and on. This could be kind of a grueling process, but it's something I want to anticipate until we get any type of explosive move of divergence out of this consolidation that we've been in. That's the best that I can do on these charts. Want to point out one thing on ADA on the 6 hour. ADA was escaping the bear market lows, higher highs, higher lows. And you could just see that yellow trend line. It's been broken to the downside. We even have this kind of descending triangle ADA broke out of, and this was beginning of August, made a move back to the trend line, so far failing. So all hints are kind of leading us to believe that ADA is kind of also losing momentum. There's downside in play. Target on this pattern around 26.5 cents. What does that look like on this falling channel? 26.5 cents for ADA would be ADA just falling out of the trend line, maybe getting pulled back into the pattern. We see that time and time again. This is what I'm watching for on all of these charts, everybody. I'm just sitting here like you watching, anticipating. The reason I do this is a huge mental exercise for me while we're trading sideways, so I can visualize, so I can remind myself that we don't always trade sideways forever. There will be a move. What will that move look like? I want to be ready for it, and I want to start watching confirmation areas, whether that's to say a reversal area, we hit the target and we start reversing, start seeing if there's momentum to the upside, or resistance areas of just bullish breakouts, right? We hit that 33.5 cents. ADA keeps going. This could be a bullish confirmation as we start looking at the key areas on the zoomed out. That is the 20-week moving average around 34 cents, 50-week moving average around 36 cents. Everybody, that's my update for today. If you're even still out there, there's probably 2 people still even watching this video right now. At the end of this video, I just want to say I appreciate you so much. I really do, your support through these times, these sideways times. I will see you all in the next video. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe if you're one of those 2 people, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.